Okay, let's just drop right into this explainer. Picture this. It's a Saturday at Georgia Tech, and students are packing into a room that feels honestly more like the hottest club on campus than a study hall. But there's no DJ here. This whole operation is running on laptops, massive amounts of caffeine, and artificial intelligence. What we're looking at isn't just your standard student hackathon. It's actually a really high-stakes, real-time stress test of how AI tools, specifically Claude AI in this case, are completely reshaping professional software development workflows. We're going to unpack exactly what went down in that room, and more importantly, what it signals for every corporate dev team out there.
So here is the constraint: 3 hours. That's it. That is the entire runway these students have to conceptualize, design, and fully build a working mobile or web-based health app. Now, if you spent any time around software development, you know that 3 hours is barely enough time to get your basic dev environment set up, right? Let alone push out a finished product. But by leveraging advanced AI assistance, these teams are literally bypassing weeks of traditional coding. It's a wild constraint, but it brilliantly forces us to see what human developers can actually pull off when the heavy lifting of raw coding is just handed over to a machine.
Let's break down how a sprint like this actually plays out. Hour 1, they get the health app prompt, and boom, straight into intense strategy and ideation. Hour 2 is where it gets crazy. They aren't manually typing out HTML or Python. Instead, they are rapidly prompting the AI to instantly generate complex dashboards and entire user interfaces. And then, inevitably, comes Hour 3. This is the frantic code merging and intense human refinement phase. And you know, this ticking clock scenario, it's the perfect microcosm for the massive time savings, but also the completely new types of pressure that corporate software teams are going to face as these tools become the enterprise standard.
Now, as we watch these teams absolutely race against the clock, it forces us to confront the multi-billion-dollar question that's basically keeping executives up at night. Can AI actually increase developer productivity without just replacing the human altogether? I mean, when an AI can spit out a working app architecture in seconds, the immediate knee-jerk fear is obsolescence. But the reality playing out in this lab suggests something totally different. It points to a massive evolution of the developer's job. Definitely not the end of it.
What is super fascinating is how fast the students themselves caught on to this. One of them hit the nail on the head, saying their role was now way more about thinking up creative, useful ideas. They realized right away that their value wasn't in typing out syntax anymore, it was in product strategy. Think about it. Everyone in that room has the exact same AI tool, so the winner isn't the fastest coder. The winner is the person with the best vision, the deepest understanding of the user, and the strategic chops to actually direct the AI to build that exact vision. And that dynamic perfectly illustrates the new workflow we're moving toward. Step 1 is always that human spark, the creative ideation. Step 2, the machine steps in for the prompting and generation phase, basically acting as your lightning-fast executor. And Step 3 is crucial. Human-in-the-loop refinement. It's like you're no longer the bricklayer, you're the architect, handing blueprints to an impossibly fast but sometimes unpredictable automated construction crew. You still have to inspect the work, find the structural flaws, and guide that final polish. But look, we have to be real here. It is definitely not all seamless, futuristic magic. As that third hour winds down, the friction of relying on AI code becomes painfully obvious. One student literally looked at the screen and said, "This is going to be hell. We have 44 minutes. And that was just trying to stitch everything together. Because when you have 4 different team members prompting the AI for different parts of an app, trying to merge those disjointed pieces into one cohesive, bug-free product is a nightmare. The AI doesn't always grasp the broader context, so you end up with mismatched variables and broken logic right at the finish line.
And that brings up a really important contrast. What wins a frantic hackathon sprint won't necessarily survive in the real world. A 3-hour rapid prototype held together by digital duct tape is vastly different from enterprise software reality. Corporate deployment requires rigorous testing, incredibly stable code merging, and massive scalability. AI is phenomenal for getting you to a rough prototype at warp speed, but taking that output and turning it into something that won't crash when 1 million paying customers log in, that still requires serious old-school engineering discipline.
Which really brings us to the core of this whole explainer. If these tools can instantly generate a working meal tracker or an intricate dashboard in literally minutes, why can't companies just completely remove the human overhead? If the machine is doing all that heavy lifting, what is the human actually doing? Well, this Georgia Tech experiment gave us a crystal clear answer, and it all boils down to who actually uses these products at the end of the day.
The Associate Dean of the College of Computing summarized it absolutely perfectly. They said, if this is going to be a tool that a human is going to use, you'd want the testing to be done by humans. It's so simple, but so profound. AI has zero lived human context. It doesn't know what an annoying UI actually feels like to click on. It doesn't intuitively grasp how a super distracted person might misread a menu. Humans have to remain deeply in the loop to refine that output and make sure it actually serves real people in a frictionless way.
So to actually thrive in this new era, your toolkit has to completely evolve. It is no longer just about memorizing Java or Python. You need serious creative product ideation to even stand out. You need advanced prompt engineering to command these models. You need expertise in human-in-the-loop testing to catch the AI's blind spots. And, as we saw with the frantic end of that hackathon, you absolutely must master complex code merging and output refinement. Those are the essential skills for the next generation of top-tier developers.
And the payoff for mastering those skills? It is totally undeniable. Even with emerging chaos and the insane time crunch, the winning apps prove that human-guided AI can create spectacular products. I mean, we saw teams present an all-encompassing meal tracker that could analyze precise portions, like exactly 6 ounces of chicken and a half cup of rice. The overall winner built this amazing gamified health app with streaks and user lock-ins to build momentum, and they built the whole shebang from scratch in 3 hours. That level of output is literally game-changing.
As this real-life lab clearly shows us, the sheer speed of AI development is shifting human dynamics forever. You really have to ask yourself right now, are your corporate workflows actually ready for this? And maybe more importantly, how is your own career going to adapt when the traditional role of the developer officially becomes the role of the editor? The 3-hour sprint is already here. The only question left is, what are you going to build with your time?